Ladies and gentlemen, making his way into the cage in the lightweight division, please welcome DZHABRAIL GADZHIEV.
DZHABRAIL GADZHIEV from Manchester, England, tonight makes the walk. And this man at 23 years of age, Dean, had always been an athlete. He'd done different sports. He'd tried different things. He'd excelled in all areas of athletics. He found mixed martial arts, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah, sport was his life. And now he's come across the sport of MMA. He just walked into the gym and just fell in love with it, Chris. And now he wants to compete and see if he can showcase his skills here tonight.
DZHABRAIL undefeated, 1-0. A young man who loves to entertain. You know, it really says something when an athlete comes in, finds the outlet that is the martial arts, and then, of course, falls in love with the idea of really going out and painting a picture, being a true artist in the ring.
Coming from the 12-gauge MMA gym, working his wrestling to the highest level. At 23 years of age as well, Chris, he's got a big career ahead of him, and he's looking to implement that on the stage that is Rise of Champions.
So here he is, DZHABRAIL GADZHIEV.
And welcome his opponent, Aaron Gray.
From Team Titan, Aaron Gray, 20 years old. A youngster who has really made an impact here, looking for another good performance, a sterling performance here in front of his fans tonight in London. Another man who was a fan of martial arts, an athlete as well, came into the sport, found his speed, his cardio, all of the characteristics of being a high-level guy in other sports come to fruition in martial arts. He's also a young prospect to watch out for, Dean, for many reasons.
Aaron Gray as well, believing that game planning is going to be the deciding factor in this fight. He believes his game plan has no holes inside of it, so let's see how that unfolds here.
Gets really motivated by the element of performing, winning. That's a mindset, Dean, that really we've seen tons of different athletes come into MMA with an edge from, given their prior experience in other sports.
He had nothing to say with regards to his opponents. He just wants to have a good fight and put on a show for the fans.
Inside the Brentwood Center, Essex, ladies and gentlemen, we bring you three-minute rounds of amateur MMA in the lightweight division. This is Rise of Champion number 4. Introducing first in the blue corner. This man stands 5 feet, 8 inches and 1/2 inches tall, weighing officially at 69.4 kilograms with 1 win, no defeat, representing 12-gauge MMA from Manchester by way of Russia. He is DZHABRAIL GADZHIEV. And his opponent in the red corner, standing 6 feet tall, weighed in officially at 69.6 kilograms with 1 defeat, representing Team Titan from Enfield, North London. He is Aaron Gray. When the action begins, your referee in charge, Mr. Sam Amidi.
Out of the blue corner, representing Manchester by way of Russia, it's DZHABRAIL GADZHIEV. The Londoner Aaron Gray in his way in the red corner. Gray, southpaw. GADZHIEV, as predicted, Dean, straight in for that big double leg, and he gets the dump.
Yeah, he loaded his legs perfectly. They're looking for the double leg takedown, swept the feet away, and now he's going to look to improve his position. He's going to look to pin the arms of his counterpart in Gray and use the strikes to open up a more favorable position. You can see here he's sneaking his right leg across the belly of Gray, looking for the mounted position, Chris.
So Gray doing very well there to try and recover guard, but GADZHIEV is a sneaky customer here. Caught mount, and then Gray trying to recover, and Shrimp does so very well. Great stuff from both guys to get it started in London.
Gray's got to sneak that left leg around and out and pull guard, look for sweeps here. He's implementing the butterfly guard here. He could use the sit-up sweep, but GADZHIEV noticing that, and you see the way he's clasped the foot. He reached around with his left arm and clasped the left leg of Gray to enable that pass.
So the energy usage here is very interesting. I love the control being shown by GADZHIEV. I would be unsurprised if he has a combat sambo background, Dean.
GADZHIEV now looking at the clinch position. I'd like to see him use his head a little bit to control and then dip down, perhaps for the single leg or the double leg takedown. But We see Gray here with the overhook. See his right arm there, using the whizzer. Gadžiev looking to put the hips together and get the lift, but Gray, a very athletic fighter in himself, springs back to his feet.
That was one of the key storylines coming into this contest, is both guys had a sports background. And I love seeing, we've said this a couple times before, but as the sport matures, as more people get into it at an earlier age, you can often see that hybridization of skills, and we're seeing that beautifully from both guys despite the inexperience.
And you have to stick to what you're good at, Chris. I mean, almost certainly it's mixed martial arts. You have to be competent in every area. But if you look at the greats, and indeed the people that finish fights, they work to their strengths and further improve those strengths and deliver them inside the cage.
So Gray had promised game planning would be the difference here tonight. Are you surprised to see him tying up in the clinch like this against Gadžiev? Oh, that hurt him, Dean. Huge connection there to the leg. Gadžiev is on Wobble Street. The base gets collapsed, and Gray unloads there, looking to shuttle the legs and pass.
Gadžiev was just a bit too much content against that clinch position, very comfortable in his grappling ability, but he failed to account for the killer knees from Gray.
Yeah, Gadžiev is absolutely hurt to the inside leg. He got rocked with that knee, and a head kick lands.
That went whizzing past Gadžiev, but he used it to get the single leg takedown. He's going to try and circle off to his right side to pivot round. But, I mean, Gray is no stranger to this position. He's working those underhooks beautifully.
Saved by the bell. Gadžiev was calling for a low blow, but I've got to be honest, taking a look at what we saw there, Dean, it looked to me like that was a legal strike.
The referee didn't pick up on it, and almost certainly he can see better than any of us can. He's got the first preview of that. I mean, you can see in the corner, Gadžiev taking a seat on the floor, and Gray is up on his feet, taking instructions from his corner.
As we said, it was a vicious shot to the inside leg. That can really take your base away as a fighter.
Yeah, Gray did a great job of utilizing his range and his distance. He's a very long fighter, and he brought that knee nice and far back to get maximum power from it.
Another round here in London at Rise of Champions 4. Chris Hoekstra alongside Dean Midhat. Great to have you with us watching on UFC Fight Pass. And of course, Dean, the storyline thus far, Gadžiev very dominant in the wrestling, but it all changed after Gray connected. Gadžiev then off the left. Gray says he's okay.
Gray did a cardinal mistake there. Never take your eyes off the fighter in front of you. And now he finds himself the receiving end of a high crotch, but does a great job of keeping his weight down, skipping out to the side, looking for the outside trip is Gadžiev.
That is the Sambo background of Gadžiev. Very athletic in defense is Gray. Gray coming off the 1-2-1-2.
Gadžiev now controlling the wrist, using his hips to enable him the angle to defend this takedown. Gray's got to keep busy with the strikes, Chris.
Gray looking there for the right hands. Gadžiev tying up with the whizzer.
Whizzer now from the right arm of Gadžiev, he's got his arm over the left arm of Gray's. And that serves to give you balance and indeed control. But I like to see him funnel those arms in, look for the double underhooks, and manipulate that position from there.
Solid shots here from Gray. He looks very comfortable in the clinch, team.
Gray's did a great job of utilizing that head pressure. You can see the way he's pushing the top of his head against the chin of Gadžiev. He's really serving to control that knee. There's a knee again. He needs to be careful about eating those knees. Gadžiev needs to mess around with the base and the balance of Gray. Big knees again, relentless. He's firing those straight up the pipe. Some of them are glancing off the arms of Gadžiev, but he needs to be careful. If they sneak through into the body, they could drop you.
Gray looking to work the legs, looking to work the body. Tons of leverage here. And he looks for that outside trip, trying to reap the knee. Can he get it?
It's great to see Gray switch up the techniques to even threaten the takedown, even if he didn't want it. He's making Gadžiev think in multiple areas of this MMA game.
And that's exactly it, Dean. You know, putting the mixed martial arts is something that you've got to pay attention to as you develop as a fighter. Gray looking very polished in that department.
He's done a great job of keeping his weight down. You can see there from his stance, he's very strong in that position. Nice reversal from Gadžiev.
Yeah, Gadžiev fought very well with the whizzer there. Strong overhook. And of course, a very strong Uchimata game, but that knee hit him, Dean.
Yeah, those knees are just playing. Oh, outside trip there from Gray. He's taking the grappler down. Now he's going to find himself on top. He needs to clear that right leg of Gadžiev and pass into a more favorable position. Gadžiev looking for the leg lock.
Doesn't get it. Up kick there from Gadžiev. Aaron Gray swarming on him and says, let's stand back up. Gadžiev looks tired.
Yeah, Gray's forced him to work, flying in for that head kick, looking for the KO. He's got to separate from this position, Chris. He's got the double underhooks. Could threaten those knees again as we see there, strike and then break away from this position.
Well, Gray promised a performance, and he promised to stick to the game plan, Dean. I think part of the game plan was, of course, punishing Gadžiev in the clinch, and then, of course, once you break, punishing him on the feet.
He stayed safe in those clinch positions. He kept his weight and his base down. And he didn't stay static. He fired those knees and he was even punching to the head of Gadžiev. So Gadžiev really hasn't got time to implement his own game plan and he's forced to play catch up.
But I am absolutely impressed by the durability of Gadžiev. I mean, he looked really in trouble from that first round, Dean. He recovered well and actually managed to throw in some takedowns too. So it's going to come down to whether or not Aaron or perhaps Gadžiev can implement that game plan towards a finish. But I would say at this point, Gray has probably got this one on the scorecards.
Yeah, I never like to kind of go to the scorecards and decisively say, but what we can say by looking in the corners is Gadžiev is noticeably tired, Chris.
So the final round here coming your way. I would say that Aaron Gray has probably won the second round. The first was closer. But I think Gadžiev is really going to have to turn it up a notch here in the third stanza. Gray looks very comfortable there in the corner, Dean. Aaron Gray in the blue corner. Excuse me, Aaron Gray in the red corner. Gadžiev in the blue. 360 spilling wheel kick.
Gray was almost shocked by that technique, and it's exactly what Gadžiev's got to do. He's got to throw unorthodox stuff, disguise his takedowns, and conserve his energy. He's got to think economically here, Chris.
Slap there from Aaron Gray, the Stockton slap off that lead arm. Shades of Dominic Wooding here.
Gray now attacking the body. He hurt him with the knees earlier on in the fight. He's looking to punish that body, Chris, and I think he's going to go upstairs with those shots. A shot attempt there from Gadžiev ends up on his back, but Gray is going to look to stand this one up again.
Gray again calls Gadžiev up. DZHABRAIL Gadžiev is going for that takedown, but Aaron Gray saw that a mile away.
Gray again with the anti-grappling, almost certainly worked this in the gym, used in the head, forcing the pressure, really shutting off the hips and the spine of Gadžiev. Gadžiev needs to work the double underhooks, Chris. He needs to get that right arm on the inside. He's doing a good job of keeping his balance on one leg, but he has to be careful about the ankle pick attempt from Gray.
And certainly what Gray would like to do here, oh, but Gadžiev drops actually to his back. Aaron Gray says, stand up, and I quote, Gadžiev, no doubt, certainly having to bear the weight of him in the clinch, is tired. Gray knows this right now, doesn't he, Dean?
Oh, I love that. Gadžiev breathing heavy from his mouth. And then Gray went for the takedown. And he's just forcing the work here. It's kind of like the invisible grappling ability here of Gray is shining through. He's keeping weight on Gadžiev, forcing him to work, which further makes him tired, Chris.
Front headlock position here for Gray. He's going to go for that choke, Dean.
Yeah, he's cinched up the figure four there. He's going to look to turn. He could gate a roll off to his left side.
Guillotine Anaconda, unsuccessful here for Aaron Gray. Gray stands back up. I love the control from Gray. It's a very educated approach, isn't it, Dean? In all positions, he has maintained control, dominance, and authority.
Confidence is a key issue here. He's so confident, he's able to speak to his corner whilst in a fight with a very dangerous grappler.
DZHABRAIL Gadžiev needs to pull a rabbit out of a hat here, Dean, because I think this is at least 2 rounds to the good for Aaron Gray right now.
Gadžiev's doing the correct thing here. Now he's switched the play around. He's keeping all his weight on Gray. He's using father gravity to suck up that oxygen debt and look for the takedown. But he's got to pick his poison carefully if he's going to go for a technique and to see it through to the end so it doesn't make him just more tired if he doesn't get it.
So commitment being the word as we will see the end of the round here. Good lift there for the high crouch there from Gadžiev. doesn't get it. Gray pushes away. Beautiful spin there from Gray at the end. And a show of mutual respect from both individuals.
A hard-fought fight, and you can see that here just by Gadžiev squatted down inside the cage, regaining his breath. And Gray walking around very confident again, and that will play a part in the fight, I believe, in the judges' eyes, that the fact that he was able to fire off at will, defend the takedowns of a more tired Gadžiev.
It was intriguing to me to see him start to open up on some of those combinations in the third, Dean. There was confidence, as you said, but there was also an understanding of where the distance was against a guy who was trying to take him down. People talk about boxing, and you can talk about the art and skill of exchanging strikes on your feet, but when a guy's trying to take you down, and can take you down, as we saw earlier in the fight, Gray made some phenomenal adjustments throughout that fight. So it should be a decision in favor of Aaron Gray. Let's go to Buddy Johnson here as the numbers come in, and we'll get the judges' scorecards official.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Rise of Champions Cage 3. Exciting rounds, and we go to our judges' scorecards. Our judges scored about 29-27, 30-26, 30-25 to your winner by unanimous decision in the red corner, Aaron Gray.